today is an upgrade day because I just got this box in the mail. This right here is the DJI Osmo Action 6. And there's two reasons why I think this is an exciting release. First, we have a brand new square sensor. It's a 1/1.1 inch sensor, meaning because it's square, you don't have to now refilm things for landscape and vertical. Rather, you can film one clip and then in post export out a landscape or a vertical clip. The second feature that's really exciting about this is the first action camera with a variable aperture from f2.0 to 4.0, meaning you have more control over exposure if you are in a really bright situation, or as well if you're in a really low light situation, you can stop down to f2.0 and get a lot more light, which is significantly more than the Action 5 because the Action 5 just has a fixed aperture of 2.8. Let's unbox this, see what's in the box. I didn't get the crater combo because I already have the crater combo with the Action 5. And from what I understood, the Action pole and the charging station with the batteries, those also work for the Action 6. So no need to buy all that over again. Let's do a little unboxing. Love it when there's just a little sticker tag that you just pull and it's ready to go. What's in here? Instructions fell out, stickers fell out. Okay, first little box we have here. What do we got here? We have USB-C cable. Got a million of those, but thank you. Got the, I'm such a non-elegant unboxer. Got a battery. Looks like the same size as the Action 5. And then in the package, you get this adhesive mount. So you can mount it to like your helmet or surfboard. And then in here, we have the screw that tightens this in here. And then the most important thing, we have the Action 6. Bring that out, and there you go. Let's pull the little sticker off the lens. Fresh new camera. No more red here in the front. It's a little bit more sleek. That looks cool. It's all black. Very interesting. We have the LCD screen in the front, like we're used to in the Action 5, and then LCD screen in the back. Another sticker on the side. This is for charging port. And then we have another sticker on the other side because now here is, oh, look, there's a little gel pad in there, making sure there's no moisture in there. Cool. Let's take you out. All right, and in here, we have the battery slot with the memory card slot. Let's turn this on, set this up, and there's only one thing we can do. Go out and shoot with this thing, of course. This is an unboxing and first impressions video. That's what we gotta do. Look at that, we didn't have to even charge. I just pressed power and it was good to go. First, let's set it up. Always these products, you gotta activate and do firmware updates and all these things. You can never just go out and film right away. That's how it is these days. What can you do? Something that's crazy to think about with the DJI Osmo Action 6 is that like, this is only the 6th version of this action camera, and in my opinion, they're already way better than GoPro, and I think the last GoPro is GoPro Hero 13. So it's just insane to see how quickly DJI has innovated and just developed these action cameras. Very excited to see what the quality of the footage is like coming out of this sensor. But first, we gotta activate and get this set up in order for us to go out and film. While we're waiting for the app to download, I thought I'd share some other cool features or specs in the Action 6. Now we have 4K 120 frames per second in the 4:3 mode, and then super slow motion at 1080 from 240 frames per second, which is true slow motion, and then using interpolation, it can go all the way up to 960 frames per second. I'm not sure how good quality that is, but still insane to think that a little action camera like this can film 960 frames per second. Maybe we'll have to do some shaking lips shots to see just how slow that gets. This is cold resistant up to minus 20 degrees Celsius, which is important for me living in this cold country like Finland. 4-hour battery life, that's what they say. I'm assuming if you're filming, it's probably not gonna be totally up to 4 hours, but still, that's really long lasting considering it's such a small battery in a small action camera. And this has 50 gigabytes of built-in storage. That's something I always appreciate because I don't know about you, but there's been so many times where I've forgotten my micro SD card in the past and I haven't been able to shoot, but now having this built-in storage is really helpful. I'm still waiting for the day when our mirrorless cameras are gonna have just built-in storage because, again, there's so many times where you forget a memory card and you're screwed. That recently just happened to me in Madeira, but luckily my brother Maddie pulled through and had an extra memory card for me because otherwise I wouldn't be able to shoot all day long. One annoying thing is I've bought these ND filters from DJI for my Action 5, and the way they work is they just go on top like that, and assume that this probably would be the same size, but nope, it doesn't fit on top. It's the exact same size of this lens, meaning I'm gonna have to go with no ND filters today. I know it's a sin to not be using ND filters because I might have to increase my shutter speed, but let's blame DJI on this one because I didn't know. I didn't have time to go buy new ND filters for the Action 6. Just got the Action 5 activated, but of course, firmware update. So we wait for the firmware update to be done, and then we can go out and shoot. It's actually pretty sunny today. This is quite a shock to the system because last week I was in Madeira. It was 20 degrees Celsius every day. And now here in Finland, back to winter. As you can see, got some sprinkling of snow here on the grounds, which I'm actually not complaining about because it brightens up things a lot when there's snow on the ground compared to wet, soggy rain. Here we are, my classic filming spot. Let's see what it looks like here. This is 4K 25 frames per second, and I've put a minus 0.7 exposure composition. This is me walking right now with no stabilization, and this is now with the rock steady. How is the stabilization looking? And then I'll switch over to rock steady plus to see how does that stabilization look, and then we can compare the three. All right, now rock steady plus is on. How is this stabilization going? Based on my LCD screen, it does look like it's cropping in at each stabilization mode, so of course the downside of stabilizing your footage is that you're going to be losing quality and resolution. So gotta find that happy medium balance between stabilized footage and high quality. All right, back to no stabilization. Now I'm gonna run. How is this looking? Is this really shaky or is this actually really smooth still? I don't know. Okay, again, we got rock steady plus on. I'm running, camera's shaking. How's my stabilization looking? And last running test, this is rock steady plus. How is it looking? How stabilized am I? Oh, across the street. Don't want to get hit by a car. All right, now I just want to test out the internal microphone right now. How's the audio sounding? There's a little bit of wind right now, but not too much. I'm walking outside. I'm wondering how does the DJI Osmo Action 6 sound just with their internal mic. Then I'm gonna attach the DJI Mic 3 and we'll see how does that audio sound. All right, now I have the DJI Mic 3 attached to my shirt. Wondering how does this sound right now. Feels like it's clipping. I'm not really sure how to take down the audio level of the Mic 3, but hopefully this works out okay. All right, we're back from the freezing cold. Had some time to thaw out my hands and check out the footage from the DJI Action 6. Did you guys notice it's not called anymore DJI Osmo Action 6 Pro? It's just 6. The 5 used to be Pro, but it's just 6. I don't know if it actually makes a difference, but that's just how they've framed the name for this Action 6. After reviewing the footage, a few things that I really love about this action camera, even just this quick time they're able to test it out, and then a few things that I haven't liked. First thing that I love is the square sensor. It's just so easy in post then to just scale it, whether you want landscape or vertical, which is amazing because in this day and age where you need to post both landscape and vertical, it's just really helpful that you don't need to film things twice because there's certain moments that you just can't recreate. So it's nice to be able to film it one time and then you can in post then decide whether it's gonna be landscape or vertical. When it comes to image quality, I was actually really impressed what this little guy can do, especially those shots of me walking down the stairs at the train station. I was just like, dang, those actually look really, really good. When it comes to slow motion, I really liked the 50 frames per second that I was filming at and 120 frames per second. I could definitely see myself using them. Then when you do go to the 240 and above, I feel like it starts to get a little bit gimmicky and it's not that high quality because it's only 1080. So I probably wouldn't use those unless I just want to do some fun, super slow motion shot of something crazy. But for the most part, I probably would avoid using those frame rates. Stabilization, really incredible. I did those tests with no stabilization at all, and you can see the kind of shakiness. And the moment you put on the Rocksteady, it's super good. I don't even really see a need for Rocksteady Plus, maybe for people who are doing action sports and it's really shaky. But the problem with the Rocksteady Plus is that it crops in then and you're losing a lot of resolution. So if you want smooth, stabilized footage, but you still want the highest quality, I would stick to Rocksteady. Today being my first time using the Action 6, I gotta say the ease of use was really good. It was so easy to go through the menus, select your settings, and just to be able to film yourself. Like that one shot of me walking down the stairs, I literally had it on the action pole and just put it down low to the ground, tilted a little bit, and I was able to get shots that would be really hard to get with, for example, a mirrorless camera, but with this action camera, I was able to get them very easily. And as well, I love the fact that you have the front screen and back screen. This is something I'm not used to because a lot of times if I am vlogging not with a mirrorless camera, I'm using my iPhone, but with the iPhone you can't see on the back while you're filming. And I love the fact that this front screen isn't just a monitoring screen, it's also a touch screen to change the settings. So you don't need to be like going backwards and then front. You can just literally change the settings quickly here in the front, which you don't have, for example, in the GoPro Hero 13. It's just a front screen in the GoPro. You can monitor things, but it's not a touch screen. With the variable aperture, I was noticing that you get really cool sun rays at f4, which is kind of a unique feature that you aren't getting usually in action cameras. And then when you go down to f2.0, you're essentially getting 2 times the amount of light that you would have been getting with the Action 5, which has a fixed aperture of 2.8. When it comes to sound, the internal microphone on the DJI Action 6 actually sounds pretty good, but at the same time, it's so easy to connect a DJI Mic 3 and then you're gonna get even better audio quality and as well have the flexibility to maybe put the camera down and step away and still be able to get, you know, good sound while having some unique framed angles. So if you have the DJI mic on you, it's so easy to set up and connect to your DJI Action 6, so you probably should just do that. Okay, so those are the things that I've enjoyed about the Action 6 from my first impressions, but what are the things that I didn't like? And one thing that I noticed quite quickly was that when it comes to the variable aperture, you can select f4 or then the variable mode or fixed 2.8, but you can't select, for example, just f2.0. And it'd be nice that you can just select which aperture you want to shoot at from 2 to 4, but I don't know why they've chosen that. Maybe it's just that it's more user-friendly and for, you know, the beginner consumer that they just don't give too many options for them. But yeah, that's one thing that I would love, that you have just control of the apertures. The next thing that always frustrates me with action cameras and even in the Action 6 is the focus. With action cameras, they have a fixed focus, and for example, the Action 6 has, in standard mode, a minimum focus distance of 35 centimeters. So there's moments when you're vlogging, you can tell that it's more focused and sharp behind you than your face is. And I always am frustrated by that. Now, I have heard that you can put a macro lens on the DJI Action 6, which is going to bring then the minimum focus to 11 centimeters. But the problem with that is that you have to manually focus, which means most likely you're going to miss focus a lot. As you can see in Potatoes Jet's video, he complained about that. So it is kind of a fix, but not really a fix. I just wish there was like autofocus that you can just choose the person, choose the background, and it's going to focus. I'm sure there's some sort of technical issue why that's not possible, but it's something that always bugs me a little bit about action cameras, especially if you're going to use it for vlogging, where you'd want you to be the center of focus, not the background. So yeah, that's a little bit of pet peeve of mine with the Action 6. And the last downside of the Action 6 is the focal length. Sure, there is a 2x zoom, but I tried it out, it doesn't look that good. And so you're mostly stuck always filming wide. And when I was going out walking around the city and just trying to get some cool shots, you sometimes feel a little bit limited because it's just like wide, wide, wide. Whereas, for example, if I have been filming with my iPhone, I can film ultra wide, wide, tight, and just having that, diversity in focal lengths is really nice. Now I know it's an action camera. What can you expect that, boy? You can't have everything in this small little camera. But it's one thing that I did notice, that I found it hard to shoot a bunch of different kind of shots to piece together because I'm always limited to shooting really wide. And then if I did come closer, I wasn't in focus, the background was in focus, and I don't like that. So I felt limited there. But overall, I gotta say, it's crazy how far along the DJI Osmo action cameras have come. The fact that, in my opinion, this is already surpassing GoPro Hero 13, which is the 13th iteration of their action camera. And this new square sensor is very much appreciated. Really great because if I'm using, for example, the Action 6 for POV content, I can then film landscape for my long form videos, but as well I can then make vertical shots out of it for Instagram. And that alone is, in my opinion, worth upgrading if you are a content creator who's posting on YouTube and as well on socials like Instagram. But yeah, that's my unboxing and first impressions of this video. Please write down in the comments, what else would you like to see about the Action 6? Should I do an Action 6 versus GoPro Hero 13? Do you want to see the best settings to get the best quality out of this action camera? You let me know in the comments. You guys get to decide what will be the next video about the DJI Action 6.